Okay, we are recording.
Just a couple of things I'm going to go over with protocol. We do not vote in these meetings. They're only for information only. We will discuss the things that we have tonight, and then, but of course, it's not the same format as a public meeting, because at public meetings, we do follow Robert's Rules of Order. Again, there will be no voting, only discussion. And hold on, I'm getting a call from Mr. Condon. Hello. Hey. Uh-huh. All right, well, tell him call Michelle, or you call Michelle, and she'll get you on there, okay? Because we're just, yeah. No, we're just gonna be here at home, so I'll just call Michelle and she'll walk you through it, okay? So that way we can go ahead and start. Okay, thank you. We have the police and we have John Condor that's gonna sign on shortly, but we'll go ahead and start. But anyhow, just, there are some items we can discuss. Other items, we will bring up a few items, but we will not be voting on anything or entertaining anything such as that. And then next week, just as far as an announcement, we will be virtual, but unless the governor changes the order in March, we will go back to real live meetings again. And so, anyway, we'll go ahead and start with council. Do you have anything? There's sort of a list of items: website quotes, garden club, recycling, general engineer servicings, letters from Clevens and Cross, ordinance number 05-21 rezoning, and the event calendar. And then we have the fire department here. And of course, John will be available. And I think Travis Wilson may join us as far as the engineer if you have any questions for him. So, do y'all, Alvin, we'll just start with you. I think we have the ball program too to add here, but from Saturday's meeting.
Right. And did we, from that, we did approve, or how, or when will it be approved? That what he asked about ordering the uniforms, if he goes.
Well, the 1,500 was today. Of course, they did not get the information to me for the flyers nor for the sponsorship because the weather. And we're not sure we'll get it tomorrow. Chastity, I did send her an invite. She may be on, she may not. But she said that she would get on this week with school being closed. Uh, they will be dropping off everything at town hall. But at our meetings, when we'll have to approve following the budget format, that the total of $5,000 will be utilized, but they'll be reimbursing us with sponsorship money, donations, sign-ups, and what else was it? They said there was something else that.
Well, one thing they did say about, then I don't know how to fix the problem, is the concession stand. Well, workers, or who's going to be in charge of getting the stuff in there to sell, or have we got to that point yet?
Well, I don't think we're at that point, but I think if worse comes to worse, we're probably going to have to do it. You know, I mean, do y'all know any other way that we'll probably have to set it up and see what we can do from there to have the concessions? I know they talked about getting volunteer groups. Nate, you, and well, all of you were there at the meeting. Isn't that sort of what was talked? But
yeah, I guess my hope is that since that doesn't happen until the games start, I was just trying. I think if we focus on getting to practice, getting some teams together and getting practice started, then we can work that out, hopefully, before the game start. I hate to delay it, but I don't know what to do at this point.
Right, that's it. I don't either. So we'll just let them work on other stuff, and we'll deal with this when the time comes, I guess.
Yeah, it seems like, did we ever offer it to the area churches, or did we send it to the booster club before we had a chance to offer it to churches?
we talked to some of the churches, but I'm game if we want to just send out an announcement, somehow to contact the area churches, all and say, are any of you interested? I mean, that's something we can decide Monday night how we communicate it and see if they are interested in doing it.
It may be that there are several churches that would want to do it, but not the whole summer, and they could take a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks, break it up.
Right. Works for me. I have another question about, there's a net at the ball field. I think it's the one we purchased 4 years ago. That still hadn't been put up. It's the backstop, the big net that goes up real high, and it's at the backstop behind the batter. And the one that's up there now has got holes in it. It's old. We need to get this new one put up. But I'm not sure how many it'll take to do it. And I don't know if we're gonna need a bucket truck, which would require help from the guys or whatever to hang that net if we have to have the bucket truck. But we need to get that net put up. This other one's got holes in it. And Bo told me the new net is still there. It's in the press box, I think, or under the press box somewhere. One now.
There's no problem. Just coordinate it with the guys if it needs to be put up. I mean, right now they're sort of understaffed and, overworked.
Well, yeah, we don't have to do it probably right now, but we need to do it before we start playing,
Yep. If y'all would just coordinate it with them, because don't they have to get you the 4-wheeler and all the other stuff out there too?
We get that, and then that was about all they mentioned. The net.
Driveways here, but these driveways have not been touched because no one's really leaving the house.
Who is that? Do you think we can mute them?
I don't
Whoever.
know who it is. Yes.
Sleds, of course, but
I like to just start muting people until I'm not a host, but whoever's hosting, if you just start muting people till it goes away.
I'm going,
Yeah.
we'll make you,
I think the only one that's up is Debbie, so there we go.
yeah, I don't know who that was. So we can take care of that. If you want to coordinate with John, what you need done, and then go from there. And I mean, as far as that part, but we could discuss, Monday, and of course, hopefully John will be here soon, but if he's not, he will be there Monday night of the meeting. We'll make sure of that.
Right. Okay, that's fine. We can get it done. I don't think it'd take that long to do it. It may not need the bucket truck. I don't know. There's a crank there. I think you can lower it down, lower the cables down and attach it. May not even need it, but I hadn't looked at it close enough. That was just in case we need to.
Hush, dog. He left the doggy up here. I gotta tell my husband to come and get it. Hey, but what about the flag? Do we need to have the flag changed too? I think I asked Deb about it. And so I think we need a new flag out there.
That center field out there or the one by,
Yeah, the one out at the field before the game starts. We'll have to check it. We'll
Okay.
check the rest of the stuff out there. Nate?
Well, I will apologize because I saw the attachment that was the agenda for the workshop until I went to print that page out so I could make notes on it. I didn't realize it was 31 pages long and it contained all the notes we were supposed to be reviewing. So I am reviewing them. But let's look. So the other, you're asking us what our issues was? Because
Yeah, I'd rather start with our issues, then we'll go over the overall
Okay.
notes.
Well, I sent that note out today. I was contacted by Sarah Ambrose, who is starting a new business in the Trahans. And it's as far as I can tell, a wine and cheese shop. She's hiring, you may have seen on Monteagle Community News, she's hiring for staff right now. And she looked through the ordinances and found that while it is legal for her to serve wine and liquor with the proper licenses, she is too close to the church to serve beer because there is a specific prohibition on beer within 300 feet of the boundary of a church. And she wanted to know, she thought, and I agree with her, it didn't make a whole lot of sense that you can serve wine and liquor, but not beer. And wanted to know if there was something for us that we could do about it. She's also apparently been working with Debbie and found that, and I was there when this happened during the last administration, the definition of beer has changed. So the beer is now up to 8% alcohol, which it further just cuts her out. It limits her to serving only the really strong stuff. And so I just wanted to bring it up and brainstorm what you guys' ideas were about maybe fixing this. Marilyn and I had talked about it, and she said her understanding had been the measurement had been taken from doorstep to doorstep, which might solve this instance, but doesn't really sort of solve the issue.
So I thought it was corner boundary to corner boundary.
It's boundary to boundary, and since those properties are next to each other,
Yeah.
then that again cuts out beer but allows for wine and liquor. So I had a thought. Doreen and I were talking about this, discussing this, joking about this, I guess, when we were trying to figure out when last call is in Monteagle. We found it to be 2 a.m. and it has been my experience that some of the problems associated with serving alcohol often occur between 12 and 2 a.m. And so I wondered if it made sense to think about streamlining the law. I get that there is some type of behavior, particularly on a Saturday night, that you don't want lingering on a Sunday morning next to a church when folks are trying to go into service. So I was wondering if we could streamline things and just do a prohibition of serving alcohol after some more reasonable hour, like maybe it's even 11 o'clock if you're adjacent to a church.
Or a school. I think it's a
school,
church,
yeah.
a school, a ball field. I mean, I think there's more restrictions on that. And it's like I mentioned today, if we decide to do this, I'd like to just change the ordinance to where it matches in clear definition for the future. So we're not dealing, like today, we're dealing with some ordinances that are not clear.
Yeah, and I don't think we necessarily need to take action. I don't know that we will know enough to take action on it by next week, but I wanted to bring it up and just see what people were. That was an idea. There are other ways to deal with it, I'm sure.
How close is she, Nate? You're talking 300 feet. How close is she?
Oh, their boundaries match. So they're 0. The church,
Yeah.
the church and the Trahan development are right next to each other.
Okay. I was wondering if it meant like doorstep to doorstep.
That's what Maryland had thought, but it's clearly boundary to boundary in the ordinance as it's currently done.
But yet she can serve wine and liquor, but she can't serve beer.
Yeah, because beer's a city ordinance and the other two are control. So
Right.
we can match the state if we want, and or we can do ever how we want to, but we just gotta be consistent with what we're doing for sure.
So we don't have control over wine or liquor, that's state?
Deb isn't, let me text Deb. She's on here, but she doesn't want to talk. So she's texting. She does need a liquor permit from the city.
Yeah.
But she also needs state license, I think. She's texting me. Well, then I would say, let me ask Deb, I think that both laws would apply.
So the beer is just a city, it's not a state?
It actually, I think what Deb's just said, let me call Deb. She doesn't want to talk on the thing, so I'm gonna just call her, okay? So we can do this. And I've got to call Travis in a minute if we got any questions. His power's off. He just texted me and said his power's off.
Oh, I hate that.
Call has been forwarded to an.
Yep.
Tell Debbie to talk on Zoom.
Will you talk on Zoom? I'm telling her. I'll go ahead and talk.
Well, this meeting is set up for people to call in. You can just give them the phone number and they can call directly in.
Do you have the phone number? Is it the town number? Unmute me. Okay, let me find Debbie. She wants
No,
to-
Ivan Michelle, if you'll go to this meeting in the Zoom interface and go to edit and look for phone, it'll have a phone number for them to dial in.
Gotcha.
There's Debbie.
The meeting I
Can you
did.
hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we can
Yeah.
hear you.
Okay.
Our question is about beer and liquor. You said they also need a license or permit. So can you explain that to us?
Okay. With the alcohol, they have to get their permits from the state. Once they get the permit from the state, they have to get a city alcohol permit. And they pay us the same amount for the fee as they do the state.
Well, would this our ordinance not apply though for liquor and wine the same it
No.
does with beer?
No, we don't have an ordinance for liquor. We have to go by what the state says.
And we don't know what the state says though, right? Yep.
Not as far as, I mean, all they do is get their permits from the state. We issue a liquor permit, but it's according to whatever the state tells them. The beer is a city ordinance.
Okay. Well, I'm just saying for futures, if they can be consistent, and I don't know what they are, so.
I mean, we don't have any control over the alcohol. We have to do whatever the state says.
All aligns with. It says alcohol can only be sold from, and I'm looking at the Supreme Court ruling of the state of Tennessee right now, as of December the 21st, 2018, from 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. on Sundays. And there's purchase of liquor, Sunday sales, and it says from 8 to 11, Monday through Saturdays. And well, we need to probably figure out what the Tennessee laws say about it, because I don't know. Do y'all?
If they
Okay, so there's
issue
prob-
her a liquor permit, then we have to issue her one too.
But the liquor's not the problem, it's the beer, right?
Well, the beer is a city ordinance.
So
Okay, but the boundary thing, is that city or is that state?
I think that's in the zoning ordinance.
City, it's an ordinance I read, hang on here, where is it?
Okay,
I sent it to y'all as she sent it to me. I assume, Debbie, did she get it from you?
I don't think so. I haven't talked to her.
I wonder who she's working with.
She
That
may have got
might
it
be-
from Earl.
Oh,
Yeah.
I bet that's it. I bet that's it. All right, so ordinance 8-309. No permit authorizing the sale of beer will be issued when such business would cause congestion of traffic or would interfere with schools, residents, churches, or other places of public gathering, or otherwise interfere with the public health, safety, and morals. In no event will a permit be issued authorizing manufacture or storage of beer or the sale of beer within 300 feet of any school, residence, or church or other place of public gathering. The distances shall be measured in a straight line from the nearest point of the property line upon which sits the building from which the beer will be manufactured, stored, or sold to the nearest point on the property line of the school, residence, church, or other place of public gathering.
I'm sure that that's in the zoning ordinance.
Okay.
well, I guess what I was saying though, if we can be consistent without it interfering with Monteagle, you know what I'm saying, with the state, it'd be easier on everybody, is what I'm thinking. But I don't know that would, or one size fit all. So we'll have to find out what the state says to be able to correct Monteagle's beer. It's just what I'm thinking.
Yeah, so I guess does anybody have concerns that we need to address as we think about how maybe to fix this so that she can serve beer with her alcohol?
I'm just trying to picture all the other churches in town. You know, is there anything going to be beside them?
So the
Let's say
depot,
you've got Papa Ron. See, this is the reason I was thinking door to door. Because of course I used to know a little bit about liquor stores, but that's been several years ago. But that's the reason, for some reason, and that we may have changed it. Nate said it might have been during that time we did a lot, but I thought it was from door to door with the sales, because you've got Papa Ron that sells right next to the Church of Christ. And those, well, no, there's Case
There's a
property.
lot. Yeah, there's a lot in between there.
And then you got the liquor store there in town that's right across from Christ Church. There's two roads, the roads between it. So I'm not really sure, you know.
Well, and the depot was always too close to the school, I thought, but I think it must have been grandfathered in.
Well, I
not
don't
the
think
depot,
anything was
but the-
grandfathered in. I think it just happened. But you're still right there. The depot would have had a house between it, though.
The old pit stop, is that what you're talking about? Down
That's where
between,
it's called.
Yeah.
when I had it, it was grandfathered in, and in that grandfather, as long as, if I would have sold it to somebody and they had kept it open, it could have still been grandfathered, but when it closed, then it done away with it. You couldn't put beer there again.
Yeah, and that's all, that grandfather's all in the ordinance. I just didn't read it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it says you can't shut anybody down for doing it if they've already been doing it.
So that's Monteagle, not a state, right? You're referring
Yeah.
to ordinance. Okay, gotcha. Because I've been advised by our other attorney that some of the stuff that was grandfathered really couldn't be grandfathered. Not this issue, but other things. So.
Well, is this something we ask all about, or we ask, or do we just take a stab at it? Because we can always just talk about it next week. We don't have to make any decision, but getting some further understanding.
I think we've got to get an understanding of what TCI law says about liquor and wine. Then we can see how consistent we are or not to be able to fix it.
Okay, well, I'll poke around and maybe I'll know something by next week.
Yeah, if you don't mind, and we'll get Deb to check with MTS too. All right, Deb, they can let us know part of it, can't they?
Yes.
We'll go with MTS and get what they say too, what's consistent. Okay. Nate, do you have anything else to?
My issue.
Doreen, you're next.
I don't have anything.
Jessica,
The only thing I'd like to mention, the recycle program. They told us that we could recycle books, both softback books and hardback books, but we actually have to take those to the recycle center in Winchester. They're not to be dropped off at our facility. That would be the only change.
okay, well, we're working on your signage and the signage, well, the signage, we're also working on the flyers, so if we can make that change, then we'll do that before we take them out to the dump.
Good.
I still haven't had the opportunity to touch base with a lady that has the vending machine for shoes and clothes, but I'll get in touch with her. If she has one, then we'll see if we can't coordinate that to start doing that out the center. So.
Oh, Marilyn, can I take back being done?
Yeah, you can take it back. Go for
You
it.
take my spot.
One time, Nate, one time.
Somebody called me the other day about that big culvert on First Street that the side of the road is sloughing off. I didn't get out and look at it. It looks from the car, it was pouring down rain. From the car, it looks like there's just no shoulder anymore. And I don't know whether the culvert's giving way, or is that something that's on your radar screen? It doesn't honestly look like an easy fix.
John, are you on here? Do you know what he's talking about? Honestly, nobody's mentioned it to me, and we haven't got an email about it, so I don't know who called you, but have you seen what he's talking about? I don't know, Butner. Or is Butner on here? Butner, you're on here too, aren't you?
He's on here.
Let's get Butner done mute, and so we can see and get him working on it if you can.
Let's see.
Still not unmuted.
He's got to do it himself now.
He's on, he just don't have no sound.
Keith, you gotta
Okay.
push it. There you go.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
We
Yes.
can,
Uh,
Nate, do you care to ask him again so we can?
So there's the big culvert at the bottom of First Street in the block behind Builder's Supply. I was asked to look at it because there's no shoulder there, and they were concerned about cars driving off into that hole. And it didn't look like an easy fix. I didn't know if it was even on your radar screen to take a look at it.
I drove off in it.
Not really. I mean, I don't know exactly which one you're talking about. The one off of Lead, one off King. What are you talking about?
It's on First between King and is that Central?
Yeah, it's from
Okay.
Hey, Keith,
Hey,
it's that hole there, you know where Dan Gillum used to live?
oh yeah.
You turn in there and it's on down below his driveway, that big hole.
Oh yeah. That's no, it's not an easy fix. It's where they had put a grade in there at one time and poured concrete around it. And probably what's going to have to happen is that be dug up and either buy a bigger catch basin to go in there and fix it that way. Cause we put surge rock in it several times and it just keeps washing away. Now, how it's going, where it's going, I don't know.
Yeah. It didn't look
But-
like an easy fix. I just wanted to see. It sounds like it's on your radar.
Yeah, we've dealt with it for several years, but it's just going to have to be, I don't know how many yards of concrete they poured around that when they did it the first time, but we need to buy a catch basin to go in there.
Okay.
And we'll just have to check it, measure the pipe and see what a catch basin and a grate and stuff will cost.
Hey, Budner, is any of those things, I know we talked to Johnny Ray and he wants to meet with us and we planned on talking to Marion County as well. But is any of those things easier for Marion County to fix rather than us, or
But
I'm just wondering.
that would be on the Grundy side, and yeah, we might ask Johnny Ray to help us out with that because he's got a big track hoe, big excavator, where all we've got is a backhoe, and that may be what it takes.
Well, you might want to check with him because I know he told us he was there to help with us. He wants to meet with us when the weather breaks anyway.
Yeah, he did.
So, Nate, does that work if we just have it checked on and go from there?
Yeah, I don't know that there's a perfect solution. Like I said, it was pouring down rain and I didn't get out. I just looked at it close enough to say, oh, that doesn't look easy.
Yeah, it's not. It really something should have been done different to start with.
Yeah. Okay.
I do have Travis on the phone. Nate, are you finished with yours right now in case anybody wants to talk to Travis? Travis, if you can talk to him, I've got the phone up here so that you can.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead, Travis.
Yeah, I'm here if anybody has any questions.
Can y'all hear him?
So everything got deployed, the flow monitors, everything got deployed?
Yep, just to give an update, we were up there all day Friday with John, and we installed the flow meters and the rain gauge. So all those were installed, and we're scheduling the pump station drawdown testing for later next week or the first part of the following week. What we're looking at, we'll schedule that, coordinate that with John.
We're certainly getting rain for them, aren't we, guys? The weather's conducive. So.
Yep, that's right. So yeah, when we were installing the meters, looks like the flow was had already picked up due to the rainfall we've already had. So I think should be getting some good information over the next couple of weeks.
Anyone else have a question for Travis?
I don't. He answered all the questions the other day, I think.
Nate, you have any more? Jessica?
I do not.
Marilyn, can I say something?
Yes, you can.
Travis, can you send me an email with the contract that has the new numbers in it so that Marilyn can sign it and I can get it back to you?
I can. Well, right now I'm out of power and don't have internet. Not sure when that'll get back turned on. But I think I sent an email on Friday or Thursday, maybe a few hours after our meeting on Thursday, I think, with a revised contract. And Debbie, I don't know that I copied you, but maybe Mayor, if you can check your email and see if that went through. It may not have went through, but if not, I'll do it as soon as I can.
I'll check it because I wasn't there Friday, so but I'll
Okay. I did not get it, so if somebody's got it and can get it to me, then we'll get it signed and get it back to you.
Okay. And the agreement that was originally signed to, or the professional services agreement need to be signed as well with that. That's just the legal portion. But as soon as I get internet back on, hopefully, I'm hoping it'll be tomorrow, but Canyon Fork said that 70% of the county was out of power, so I'm guessing we're low on total power at this point.
Okay, thanks.
You be safe, Travis. Anybody else got anything for Travis? If not, I'm gonna hang up with him.
Nope.
Think we're good. Thank you. Y'all stay warm. Okay, bye. You're welcome. Okay, John, do you have anything?
No, I don't have nothing. Wet head. What about you?
Well, mine's dry right now. How about you, Jack? Jack,
I'm good.
Skylar is here for the fire department. Do you have anything, Skylar?
Yeah, we was actually gonna see if we could get approved to buy 3 sets of turnout gear. We got 1 set that's out of date, and we got 2 more that's fixing to go out of date. And the NFPA standard states that we're supposed to change them out every 10 years. And we ain't got no new gear in about, I think Garen said 3 to 4 years recently, and we need to get our engine. We got some stuff that we need to get fixed on it.
Mhm.
We're gonna see if we get some approval on it too.
Do y'all have a budget? Do y'all have that in a budget item so we can see what we're talking about, numbers and what we're doing here? Like,
I
can you have
haven't looked at the budget, but from what I understand, it's supposed to be in there.
Well, no, I mean, how much it's gonna cost for us to approve it? I should have reframed that. Do you have something to show us that we can have money?
We're gonna get some quotes for turnout gear. We will get that. We'll have it ready for you by Monday. And the truck thing, we'll have to just call. We were supposed to have a quote on it from Mid-South when they done our pump test, because that's when they noticed that one of our hoses was leaking. And man, that's about all I got.
You have to have 3 quotes.
Yes, ma'am.
How much is that turnout gear average, Debbie?
Well, it averages about 2,500 to 3,000 per person. I mean, it's a lot of money, but it's a life-saving thing.
No, I'm just trying to figure out, because we're talking, she asked about quote. Yeah, I knew we'd need quotes and a budget. I mean, we need a dollar amount because it does extend.
Yeah.
Is that right, Dale?
Yes, if it's over $1,500, you gotta have 3 quotes.
Yeah. We'll for sure get y'all 3 quotes for it by Monday.
How many sets of turnout gear do y'all have currently?
Well, we got all different sizes, but I mean, everybody ranges, and most of the sizes we got won't fit half the people we got on the department, to be honest with you. I couldn't tell you how many sets. I know right now we got 8 sets in use, and like I said, one of them's out of date that really needs to be took out of service and thrown away, because that's what NFPA's standards state that we need to do with it. After 10 years, everything for them is 10 years. We got 2 more. I think they got like 2 to 3 years left on them, and then they got to go. So it's kind of a crushing matter there.
Can you, we have 8 sets in use.
Yeah.
Can you get us, at least for the sets in use? I'd actually like to have all of them. The numbers of the turnout gear along with when they expire.
That way we can work on that.
Budgeting when we need to replace them.
Right. We can work on that.
Because if we've got somebody working in an expired turnout gear, I can see that we need to deal with that. If we've got turnout gear that's about to expire, then we'll need to know that for next year and for the year after that, and sort of
start planning ahead with a maintenance program. And while we're talking to the fire department, I have talked to Gary and Skylar. You and I haven't talked, but I have talked to David Green. I think I got it right, Nate, finally. But and he had a doctor's appointment, and he's not wanting to come on board as any type of title, but he has said that he would be interested in coming and helping the guys with learning and training and building and recruiting. And from everyone I've talked to, both at town hall, talking to Garen and talking to other people, David's been doing this most of his life.
He has, and I respect David. I really do. He's a good person.
And so, well, I know Garen and I talked. We hadn't talked yet. Well, I think this first time, second time you and I met maybe, but anyway. that he's looking at coming to help us. I tried to reach him today, but I couldn't get in touch with him to see when he might be willing to come and start helping the Monteagle Fire Department. So just an
good.
update on that. So
I hate to be seeming to give you a bunch of homework, but if you don't mind, could you get with the other guys on the fire department and get us a list of what y'all think David could help you with? That would be really helpful to us, as we need to be thinking about sort of a job description and what he would be doing for y'all, and it'd be helpful for me to know what y'all think you need. I think there's some ideas that we have about some of the needs, but
Yeah.
Right. I mean, we can do that, but right now we're worried about, we're state certified everybody, because some of our guys ain't state certified, so we have to certify them. And in order to be state certified, you have to have what is called a basic firefighting 64-hour class. And we've got 3 people in it right now, because I mean, we're lacking on members. We're struggling. This past weekend, everybody's been out of town, and it's been me, Garen, and one other boy with us. And so for the most of the week, it's been, we're lucky to have 2 or 3 people show up to a call at a time.
like recruitment's your first issue, huh?
Yeah, recruitment. We need recruitment. Ever since everything went down past couple of years, we've had some problems with not being able to keep guys.
well, that's the reason David said he could help with that. He thought, and as soon as he comes on board, and I did talk to Garen about this after we had all just briefly discussed it in passing. And he said he'd be willing to help with recruitment, because he said, you got a good guys, well, he said like this, you got a good bunch of guys there, they're young, but that's where you train them and go from there. So
Yeah,
he was
definitely want to do that.
back full. And are you certified, Skylar?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
Okay, because I was just wondering, because I know you said you are training. And I think that's is that where Garen's at tonight? Is he training?
I don't know if they had class or not, to be honest with you. I hadn't talked to Garen since this morning, and last I heard they was having class, but I don't know if they canceled it with the weather or what's going on.
Yeah, I don't know either. It's crazy weather.
Yeah.
Nate, do you have anything else for Skylar?
No, it's good. If you do think of something, just let us know, because that'd be helpful.
Okay.
We want to make sure that David can provide that y'all with the help you need.
That sounds good.
Doreen, you have?
So we've only got 8 firemen, right?
Somewhere in that range. I couldn't tell you exactly. I ain't looking at my roster right now, and I ain't updated in a minute. So.
And now we do have mutual aid, right?
Yes, we have automatic aid with Pelham, and we got mutual aid with Tracy, and we call Swanee if we need them. They said they'd come to us if we need anything.
So you do have that, just in case there's a few firemen. It's just not sending out 2 people by themselves right now, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
If it's something expensive, right?
Yeah, if like we have a house fire or something right now, I mean, depending on where it's at, Monteagle, well, Pelham's gonna come automatically, and then depending on how bad it is, we'll call Tracy or Swanee, whichever side of town it's on. Interstate, we run with Pelham pretty much everywhere we go on the interstate. Probably would like to try to talk to Marion County and Kimball Fire Department and see if we can't start doing some joint training with them, because we respond all the way down to Martin Springs exit and then back up the mountain. So we got a pretty long haul with us. So
why are we doing Martin Springs? Because I thought the city limits ended before then. When did we start doing that part down?
I don't know. That's how it's been since I got on. I ain't been on here this long. And I know Marion County asked us to do it from what I understand, and they agreed to do it. So we run.
Are we getting any reimbursements, Debbie, from Marion County though?
No.
I mean, Alvin, am I mistaken? You were there with me. We didn't do Martin Springs before, did we? We didn't go that far down, did we?
I don't think we went that far down, but we did do part of the, I don't know how far it went to Martin Springs. I don't remember.
I think what started the Martin Springs thing was when Battle Creek Fire Department was no longer there because they did not want to run interstate.
Yeah.
We had to have somebody, because Kimball's so far out and we're a little bit closer. It's just needed somebody there at the time, and then it's ended up staying like that the whole time.
Well, I think that, well, I mean, and that's fine, but if we're being reimbursed, because if we're running
yeah.
the interstate all the way down to Martin Springs and we're not being reimbursed by Marion County, but you're covering part of their area, their coverage area, that's something we need to know when we start dealing with budget council, because it sounds like another issue that, we need to address with the Marion County side.
I agree 100% with y'all on that, but as far as I can go with it.
Well, that's fine, and I appreciate the information. We didn't know that I didn't know that till today again, because I knew
That's
it
no
one time.
problem.
Yeah.
We're looking at probably having some trainings in March, and
No.
we want to invite y'all city council members or whoever wants to join us to come train with us. We have some pretty interesting training sometimes.
I don't
Get us a schedule. Let's see what we can do.
All right.
Jessica, do you have anything?
No, I was just wondering about the budget. Can you let us know on Monday night about your budget for the items that you want to purchase? So it'll be pretty easy to.
Yeah,
check out.
we'll get the quotes and everything together, and I'll get Gary to get with Dave and get a copy of the budget for us.
Good.
That way we know how much money we got and where we can move it around if we need to.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And just for the record, I'm 100% in agreement with the council and with Nate is that if you've got something out of date, expired, I don't want somebody out there that's going to get hurt or could, or does anything happen to him, because it's hard enough being a volunteer fireman. So we're not trying to keep anybody out there with anything that might be out of date or might be harmful to them.
It is. I think that's all we got for now, though, is just trying to get gear and build our department back up to where it was.
Deb, let me ask you this. Aren't they going to put a keypad down there and get codes for them? Is that?
Yes, they are.
And I Gary
I
knows
don't-
this, Scholar. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Deb.
That's okay. I don't know when they're gonna schedule it, but I called, it's Crime Prevention Resources. They're gonna put a keypad in and, so that they'll have security down there. But they're gonna schedule it.
And then Garen with y'all will set up passcodes so you know who's going in and out, so things won't come up missing. And even if it's a council person, not that, anybody that would be there would have their own code.
Yeah.
So that's actually documented, so nothing could come up missing. You know what I'm saying?
That sounds great to me. That way we ain't got to worry about it, because for some reason people think fire department equipment is just, oh, hey, let's take it and go with it. But,
we don't think that about any equipment, regardless of what people think or say.
Yeah, and we'd also like to thank the city workers. Last night they come out and helped us cut a tree off of down there by Cliff Tops exit. It was hanging in the road. We called TDOT, but they don't have a bucket truck right now, so it was kind of useless to us. So we give a big thanks to them for coming out to help us, because it was kind of out of our way up in the tree there, hanging down, hitting cars.
Well, thank you for doing that, and thank y'all because it's what people don't realize. Y'all are volunteers, and you get $15 a call or something like that. You don't get paid for it, and but you're out in the freezing, the ice, the snow, the cold, and you run in burning buildings for no pay. So we do appreciate y'all. We just want to do better and work more and make things happen.
300%.
Okay, John, you said you didn't have anything, right?
Man, I don't have anything.
Now, are you going to coordinate with this bad weather, the guys, if they do need help to get down, and Butner, since you're here, to get down trees and stuff out of airway that's in our roads and stuff? Y'all usually do that, don't you?
We've been doing it all day.
That's what I thought. We do appreciate y'all too. I know y'all do, but y'all call people out. And we forgot to send Heather on here. Heather's now the new 911 director, but we'll have her Monday night. So that was my bad. I had 2 glitches from home with the so I apologize. Yeah.
Butler, do we have any sort of spreader equipment if it was to get cold and stay cold, wet like this?
We do, but you got tire and chip on one side of the county, and you've got asphalt on one side. You can't use salt. on tar and chip. I mean, and you don't have the stuff to do all the roads. You can't go do 2 roads and leave the other 20 out, you know. That's just, we don't have the stuff to do that. We went out this morning and salted the overpass because it was really the only thing that was really bad, but you don't have the manpower or the equipment to do all these roads.
In Laurel Lake, is that the one you salted?
Yeah, that was the bridge. Yeah, it was rough this morning. So
No, I was just curious. It's a big job for something that doesn't happen very often.
yeah, we just don't have the manpower, the equipment. We've got a small spreader that goes in the back of a pickup, but like I said, you put salt on a tar and chip road and it just goes all to pieces. It happened once before, and then like the overpass, that's no big deal, but
I got you.
You know,
We did use sand though if it got really bad in areas, did we, Butler, before?
yeah, like if like if you're coming out on a main road or something where you have to be able to stop, you know, you can put down a little sand there. But like I said, as far as doing hills and hollers and all that, it's just we just don't have the stuff to do it.
Okay. Well, these next 3 or 4 days are supposed to get sort of iffy, so we'll see what we need to do and don't need to do. And if y'all need us, then let us know. I know it's been several years ago, I don't know if Albin's still there or not, but we had people staying, like the police department. Jack, I don't know, were you working here then? I know Johnny Butler and Debbie were here.
Yeah, I was here.
They stayed.
That actually that's going to be an issue with COVID this year as well.
Which is?
So, if we have to house people, I mean, we're going to have to figure something out because we don't want any legalities with the COVID.
See if you can find out from your side of the house. I don't know if, you know, as far as police have some way they're handling them. I mean, if we have the community center, we have, you know, conference rooms. I don't know what we have to do and if we have to, but we do need to figure that one out. And Deb, if you can check with MTAS, because I know that they'll have some kind of protocol because we're not the only ones. Travis just said how many people were out, 75% of one county. So, you know, they're having to address that now. So.
Okay.
And we may even have to use the garage at the fire department. I don't know, you know what I'm saying? But we'll have to figure something out if it happens. Does Angie Burnett still do that with Grundy EMA, or does anybody know? I know she used to. And then I know Steve, what was Steve's name with Marion County EMA?
Steve, Sorrel. No, not Sorrel. I forget his last name.
You know what I'm talking about. We can check with him too, because he was MEMA. He was Marion County EMA, since that's their 2 largest covered areas, how they're handling it. So we can be ready. You know. So.
First Baptist Church is a shelter.
Do what?
First Baptist is a shelter for Grundy EMA.
Well, I know it was, but Jack's right. With COVID and people not being that close, we don't know what they're doing this year. Which, John, what is the machine you bought that the rest of the departments can use that actually desanitizes for COVID?
I forget the name of it. That's what it does. You can go in a system like the desk and the chairs, and it misses it, and then it sanitizes it and stuff.
Yeah.
I forget the name of it. It's up City Hall.
Well, that's what I was thinking of. I know that Jack just had his floors cleaned. They did yours, didn't they, Jack?
Yes, they did.
They desanitized that. They're going to do town hall, but we now have the equipment that each department can borrow or check out, and you can actually spray your own area once a month if you feel like it's been contaminated. We do have it, which you got it. It's certified, right, John, for COVID?
It is.
Yes, it is.
So just in case anyone needs it, even the fire department, it wouldn't hurt even if you haven't been contaminated, just, you know, to spray it like at least once a month or so. Just FYI, and we'll just have a list. People can sign it out and turn it back in.
All right, well, I gotta go. We're getting called out. Y'all have a good night.
All right, you need us, let us know. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, well, I'm just gonna go down the list and we can review this before next week, so we're not here all week, unless all night. Web quotes, we still just have 2. Nate, I know Debbie had talked to Roman. Did he get you anything else, Debbie?
No, just the quote that's included.
So he didn't set up a scheduling a time because we'd asked him to do that. But that's web, and his is only for web. We still have Michelle's, which is web and media communication for a year. We can both have those numbers to look at, review on Monday. We tried to contact the fellow in Swanee and didn't get an answer, and we did not get another one. Of course, the one we had before, if we just even go back and look at his quote, it was $500 a month just to upload. It had nothing to do with web, with building a web.
So that was Aaron you tried to reach out to?
Yes, I didn't get an answer from Aaron.
I can reach out to him. I've got his cell number. I'll do that.
Can you have him to send the information to Debbie?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. The next thing. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Next.
So I think we've got from Roman, we've got costs and the ongoing monthly maintenance. I'm not seeing from this GoDaddy quote what monthly maintenance is there and what services are included in that, and whether or not that has an SSL. Do you know that, Iva?
Yeah, it's an SSL.
And there is no monthly maintenance. Michelle would do that in her quote. Because Roman has a cost plus his monthly maintenance with a 2 or 3 year contract with his.
Okay.
This is not a month or day by day if you look at it. It's either 2 or 3 years. Jack, John, and Keith, I don't know if y'all need to go or not, but if you do, then go ahead and sign up because we're just going to go through this list. I don't think we need them for any of this right now, do we?
Okay.
So thank y'all. Appreciate it.
Have a good night.
But so those we can have numbers to look at to where we could decide about website uploads, communication, how we want to get things done per town on where we're going. That's revisiting that garden club. I met with, and her name left me.
Sharon Carney.
Sharon
Carney.
A couple of weeks ago, and she was planning on being here, but she said she decided she didn't want to. She had told me that she had a bad experience with the, and Jessica, you can engage anytime you want. I'm just gonna, with the former administration, she said they had worked really hard for years and said all of their flowers, i.e. the garden club, had got destroyed. So she wanted some form of guarantee that, somebody wouldn't go in and rip up their flowers again, which I said, ma'am, y'all worked with us for almost 9 years, well, 8 years, and they never did. So we're trying to put a lot of things into place that they don't get destroyed again. But we'll do our best as long as we're here and guarantee it's not going to happen. She's talking around the Eagle. And she has little designs and landscaping designs and all these other things where they'd worked really hard. They'd invested their money. She said if we could create some type of contract with them to ensure that their investment in their time, which these ladies really love flowers. I'm going to give them hats off because they know what they're doing. But to the areas they work on, they would consider coming back. But she said they also would need about $500 for soil and some kind of starter plants because others got destroyed before. And she would like to have an apology. And I said, even though it was the former administration, I have no problem telling her we're sorry, even though we didn't do it, on the behalf of the town. I'm just filling y'all in for Monday night because those are the 3 things she mentioned to me. Jessica, aware of anything else that?
Well, I think they were upset because after they'd done all the work and their flowers had been destroyed, then they were told that their services would no longer be necessary.
And that was they said it was by the former, by Jessica Black.
Yeah.
Before, and so that's the reason they wanted an apology. So I told them I have no problem apologizing to you from the town of Monteagle, and I don't think the council would, even though we were the ones who did it. I'm not too big to say I'm sorry. I make a mistake, and we did. If we did that, we made a mistake, folks.
The garden club was supposed to meet tomorrow, but they've canceled that meeting and they've put it off until the weather's better. So I'll let her know.
But I mean, I told if y'all are game, I would like to do that publicly in a meeting and also send her a letter. Hey, we're sorry this happened to you. We'll do what we can to create agreement, and we can do the $500 to help them get started. I mean, that's within a budget. We'll take it out of one account. We'll find it, can't we, Debbie?
Yeah, we can take it out of Parks and Rec. There's enough money there.
So,
Dory, I don't mean to interrupt with something personal, but this is actually town business. Do you know if the pig's going to open back up tonight?
The pig, yes, it is. It's open now.
It's open now. Okay, it's open. All right, sorry, I'm back to it. I was getting shown to me.
All right, the next thing is general engineering services. Everybody has the agreement, I think, they should have had it in your 31 pages if you looked at it. So, but that's with, is LJA now? Is that the name of the company? Yes. It's the same one that it's a different company, but it's still Travis Wilson, and they actually provide the same and more services than what they had. He has so you could review it by your next meeting and by the Monday night meeting, and we can be willing to, I know we hired him in one situation, but we can decide if we want to make this the engineer of choice with Travis Wilson Monday night. But you do have it in your packet, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's got it? Okay.
And if he's the engineer of choice, how long would his term be?
Well, I would say until we fire him or until we leave. That's the one John recommended.
Well, and I think we still have to bid large projects, don't we? If it's
All projects would have to be RPT but he would just be an engineer for us to utilize for our services. Yeah, everything would have to be bid out, right, Debbie?
Yes.
He's a professional service like the attorney. And well, while we're here, we haven't really hired him, but we did discuss using Paul Cross for some of the local stuff. Some things Paul can handle, some things he can't, but we did hire Sam. Larger projects in the zoning now. But that's a service. We don't have to bid out that kind of service, do we, Deb? Engineers, because
I don't think so. I'll have to check, but I don't think so.
well, if you can have an answer from MTS, but if it hasn't changed, we don't have to. I mean, that was something we used to not have to do. The next thing on there, the agreement letter with, and I never say his last name right, Mr. Gotier. Gotier. And of course, the McGregor Road that we did determine through Paul Cross reviewing that is the town's road. And an agreement, because this just came up, John and them are already gone, but for years and years and years, Deb, how many times has it came up? I know when Carl was there, it came up before about the road, right?
Yeah, lots of times.
And so it just basically says that we will maintain it, that it can't be blocked, that it is the town's road, and everybody understands that for them to sign off on it. So in the future, when we're gone, that this issue won't come up again, So it ended up, I think Nate had also talked to him, and then Dean Lay had talked to him too, and Dean met with me. So I think it ended up situation. Now we're clarified whose road it is. So I've got a copy of that in there as well. And what's the other? I don't have it in front of me.
The other is about the deed restriction on the ballpark.
Oh yeah, and Nate, that was something you asked, so Paul reviewed that, and basically Paul told me that we can't change. We're not going to be able to change it. That's what he said. So
that's not what his letter says.
Well, I haven't read it, so I'm just telling you what he told me. So it's a good thing this is a workshop.
So his letter says, does the Monteagle Public Park Association still exist or have a reasonable identifier successor? This question is critical. If this question is critical, please let me know and I'll research it. There is Tennessee law, Standard Knitting Mills versus Allen and Pickens versus Daughtery, which suggests that the right to enforce a reverter is limited to the grantor who created the condition and blood relatives and cannot be otherwise transferred or assigned. So that sounds to me like if we think this is worth pursuing, I think the question in this letter is, do we want to pay him to do more research? If the Public Park Association does not exist and there is no reasonably identifiable successor, it may be that those deed restrictions are not enforceable anymore. And we can do what we want. That's what I'm reading from this. But he's asking if we want him to research whether the Monteagle Public Park Association still exists.
Well, here's my question to you is, since we are setting up the bond program and other stuff and got, and I'm just gonna make this just say, we all know we've got some other stuff that we need to address and put to bed, we need to move on beyond it. Then can we not bring this back up later in the fall? Because we need to talk to the family one-on-one, I feel like, and then go from there. I would probably say the Park Association does not exist. Because I've never, Deborah, are you aware of one?
No, it doesn't exist anymore.
So if it doesn't exist and it doesn't have a reasonably identifiable successor, then we could go to a judge and ask the judge to declare that those restrictions are not enforceable.
But it does have an successor because we know who they are. We know who the blood relatives are. So.
But that's not the same thing. Well, I don't know.
I said, can we put this on like a couple of months down the road and then address it with Paul again and let him pursue it after we get some of these other things?
Okay, that works for me.
I mean, I'm not trying to put anything off. I'm just saying, I know we're dealing with rezoning. We're dealing with other issues right now. I'd rather as many things as we can move off our plate. We'll put this in our budget process, if that's okay, or design and planning.
Sure, that works.
What do you think? Alvin, are you still there?
Yes. Yeah, I think it'll be good. It needs to be reviewed because I do think they are successors or whatever your other family members that would fall back to. I don't know. That needs to be investigated. But
Doreen?
I'm all about it. We'll take it.
I think the deed says that it has to go back to the heirs.
Yeah, that's what I was always told.
It says the Monteagle Park Association. That's who it's
Yeah,
supposed to go
but
back
there's
to.
about 5 or 6 people that was the Parks Association, and several of them have heirs that are alive. So I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's a legal question that we don't, we could
Yeah.
hire Paul to look at. We don't have to mess with it for now.
Are we talking about heirs to the Park Association or heirs to who originally?
Heirs to the Park Association.
Right.
Well, Jessica, what do you think as far as just putting it off for a little bit?
Oh, I think it's fine to put it off until we're sure, but I talked to some of the people who were heirs to the donors who donated the land, and they feel very strongly that the ballpark will not go anywhere, or that property not used for anything else.
That's what I've heard, the same thing from some of the heirs. So I mean, that's the reason I'm saying let's move forward with some other things that we know that we need to fix, and then once we determine how to handle it, if we should handle it, then we're there. I mean, a lot of people may not realize it, but Hardin Park up there is not the town of Monteagle. It's only on loan from the family. And so, and they're very, I mean, it's just generous. They let us use it. We do insure it, but that doesn't belong to the town either.
So just out of curiosity, could you still use the ball field for city events or a practice field and have a ball field somewhere else?
That's interesting. That's in his letter too. He actually said we could probably sell it to someone else who was using it for recreational purposes and be okay.
I don't think the heirs are going to be too happy with that. From what I've heard.
I'm just saying, not sell it, but let's use it as a practice field. Let's use it as our fireworks, but we can still do a ball field somewhere else.
I had that thought too.
Well, we've got to, and I mean, I'm not going to be the stickler here, but we all know with funding, we're not where we used to be. I mean, it just is what it is, right, Debbie? You're the one who was there with the
That's right.
Increase income, and I'm not saying we can't, we will, but we've got to increase income and plan for infrastructure first, and then we can look at the larger wrecked areas. And not, like I said, I'm all for fun and all for having activities, which we'll get to that in just a second. But right now,
Here would be
unless
my thought, is
some
that
planning, we may not have a town to do that. I mean, it is what it is.
if we can, in the budget process, identify some funds to do a little bit of downtown planning.
Yes.
And if some of these properties that Doreen and I mostly have talked about for doing some possible fields come up and are identified in a planning process as being important, then I think it's worth reaching out to the owners and just putting the placeholder out there.
Yeah.
I'll just mention, because one of them is owned by Mr. Nixon, and he's got a lot of property for sale. And if some of his property sells, he's set for some pretty significant capital gains. And some of those properties might be a nice tax write-off for him if he were to sell some other property. But if he doesn't know that we're interested, he doesn't have that opportunity. I think that's different from, going out and going into debt buying property, but we can identify it in a plan and say, hey, this would be really cool, and put it on his radar screen. It's better than nothing.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that's got to go with the planning. While we're talking about planning, though, Michelle, do you have the event calendar? Because I don't have it. I don't think with me, or I might have it. I'm just
Yeah.
okay. Do I even have it? Yeah, but did we have it in this packet?
I did not put it in the packet.
Okay. Can any?
I've got it here somewhere. Hold on.
I'm gonna get her to share this screen because I have an idea, and I'm gonna see what y'all think about it for next week.
All right. Share screen. Here it is. Share.
Okay. You'll have to. As you say, we had, and this is something that I think we need to do. We could do it if we had to in 2 or 3 different areas. We had an annual Easter egg hunt to where people donated things, and we just had candy for the kids. I don't know. With the ball season, we probably can't do it there, but now the park's gone behind town hall. We might could do it there, and still be COVID safe, But I think that activities for the children are very important.
I'll check in with that in just a few minutes. And when we have weather like this.
Where are you talking about doing the egg hunt?
Well, we used to do it at Harton, but we could do it behind town hall now because there's a lot of space behind town hall, and there's not anything back there. Do what?
That you could separate it out more.
Yeah, you could separate it out more. Not only that, then you got the porta potties if you need them. We could actually, probably separate it quite a bit for I think it's 3 age groups in it, Deb.
Yes, 3
Okay.
or 4.
So what we usually do, but we'll go down through there. If we want to do an Easter sunrise service, get one of the local ministers to do that. We have Memorial Day. I don't think it's been done in several years, but I'd like to have a group to put flags on the cemetery. That's what we used to do. And if we could have a small service, I think we had it at the police department, maybe. Michelle, was that right?
We had it at the cemetery.
Oh, did we?
Mhm.
Then you are checking on the car shows, and we're going to check with John Demansky about if they want to do car shows again. He told me at one time they did. Hopefully they still do.
He hasn't gotten back to me, so if somebody else wants to.
Well, we'll reach out to him next week. We'll go over the events, then they can take off if they want to take anything off. July the 4th parade, we put 10 o'clock if we can have activities. I did get with David Sampley. Deb, did we meet Thursday?
Yes.
And he has
Tuesday,
agreed to do
Tuesday.
the fireworks for us for July the 4th. At dark, he said 9 o'clock's what time he did them. And so, but we can decide what activities we want to have, and also the parade, but that would be done on Saturday the 3rd instead of July the 4th. Street dance fireworks, if we want to do that, at the ball field. Of course, then Labor Day, if we've got the funding and have enough money, if we want to do a small event for Labor Day and then fireworks at 9 o'clock, David said he would do those as well the Saturday before instead of actually doing Labor Day. Isn't that what he said, Deb? You'll have to.
Yes, yes.
And of course, monthly car shows, if they still continue. Halloween is having like they did last year. We started those many years ago. Alvin, you remember when? Doing the Halloween events for the kids.
Yes.
Then, of
Yeah.
course, the day is to do something for the veterans and put out flags and also put them at the cemetery again to acknowledge our veterans. Then Thanksgiving, do we want to have, and this is something, Doreen, you can check with the clauses when there's time. If they had the lights up, and it's like shop local starting in 1st of November, but if we had the medium lights up and had the lights on during the medium, we could do that and then not do the park until when Santa got there on the 1st. If that works with Santa and Mrs. Claus, you could check with them what they think. And but these are the events that everybody's mentioned not to be overkill, plus the ball program that would be in here. If anybody has any comments, suggestions, criticism, what's your
Marilyn?
thoughts on? Yes.
Could we talk to Roger Everett about the car show? Because I think he and his son had several cars in it, and he might be interested in it.
Yeah, we could check with him. I just know that the Damascus had said they were going to, but Michelle had got in touch with them. I hate it, because they've always done it with us. But if
the other
changed
man that is usually with Mr. Demansky did them for several years, and we had some problems.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, let's just see what we can do if we can have car shows. Y'all want to do that?
Yeah, or how about Freddie Bagginstosh?
Yeah, him too.
He's over at Street Riders, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yes.
I think Roger would probably be more consistent because I don't know how much. Now, Nate, we did leave something off of here in Jessica. When's the Mountain Goat Run?
April 17th.
Is that going to be in Swanee, I heard?
That is all still to be determined. Swanee may not allow it because of COVID restrictions. So Patrick is doing some checking. There will definitely be a virtual race, whatever that is. Yeah, apparently they're popular.
Well, I'm going to say this, and I mean, they've always contributed. You're right, Nate. We were there the first year. Actually, the bunny still is even on here first. And you were there. Patrick was there. I don't know who else in this group. Maybe Jessica was. I know Michelle was, and I was. But I mean, I think we can put in safety precautions, but due to this year and Marjorie, I think that we need to have it. I think that we can do something safe. If y'all could do it in honor of her and even do something in Monteagle to recognize them, because, sometimes in life we get chances and sometimes we don't. And I think this is a chance we need to do that.
Yeah. So the idea had at one point been we've been mixing it up, and the idea had been to end it in Swanee this year, but given their COVID restrictions with the students, they may want us to do it in Monteagle. So Patrick is checking with the university to figure that question out. There definitely are going to be many virtual options. So I know we're going to have routes identified. There's going to be a 5K in Tracy. There's going to be a 5K in Monteagle. And there's still a lot of deals, but yeah, Jessica's got the date. And
so we are going to do something in Monteagle then that needs to be added to this calendar is what I'm getting at.
I think so, but we need a few more details to get nailed down before we know exactly what it is.
All right. Well, here's my thoughts, and I'm going to have Deb to contact everyone that we know, all groups, because we're not excluding anyone. Just going to say it. Some people may not agree with everything we do, but we're doing the best for Monteagle. So we're going to invite anybody and everybody to be part of this community if they want to be, and, move forward. And then what I'd like to do, like they do, is, of course, I know John and them go to a lot of businesses that they work with and they donate, items for the Easter egg hunt. but I'd like to do a sheet. This is our activities. If you want to donate for the children and our activities, then specify the month you want to donate or just send an X of money, and all that money will go for programs. You know what I'm saying? That's what it will be budgeted for until we can, I mean, we'll do some of it, but that's a lot of activities. So I'd like to do that just with a calendar of events.
All right. Instead of hitting them up for every one of them.
Right. You know, because I think it's harder to do that. And then, of course, people have their passions that they go reach to other people for. But this way, collectively, if we're really going to unite Monteagle, I'm talking everywhere, every background, every person. We just go this route and say, here's how we want to unite Monteagle. Be part of these
Not
activities.
me this time, by the way.
Do what?
This is not me this time.
I don't know. So, I mean, what are y'all's thoughts about doing that?
I think sounds good.
Yeah.
I think we need to try it anyway.
And so, Deb, what do you think? Do you think that'll be better than trying to do individual ones?
I think it will. Yeah, because everybody donates to everything and they get tired of, having to donate to each and every one of them. So I think that'll be better.
We need to find out if Karen's doing anything for the library since it is Monteagle's. We do that. I know there's some fundraising being done for that, but honestly, we need to add that to it if she's going to do it a day of events. Now, we never did the yard sale thing. Do y'all want to do an annual yard sale? I mean, if they want to do it, that day, I don't care.
The library usually does the yard sale.
So can we get that and add to it? I mean, we don't need a donation for it, but at least put it on our events.
And what about Mountain Market?
Yeah, we need to add that one too. So there's two that are off that happen in Monteagle, but these are activities we could put sponsored by the town or sponsored by Monteagle in the ones that we're asking for donations, what y'all say. And I mean, I even want people to say they'll work. They don't have to just donate money. We take sweat equity and things, don't y'all think? Nate, when is the ball scheduled? Did they say when's the program or Alvin? Which one is it? What's the program schedule? Somebody.
They were saying they're going to start games late March.
Yeah, late March was starting. Yeah.
When does it end? Do you think?
6-8 weeks.
Usually about the about the end of school.
So that's May. So we'll need to add those on here. But if we can have this schedule ready for Monday, and then we can decide if this is going to be our first activity. Now, we may leave something off, but if we do, or things may be added, but this will be an activity schedule we can start promoting for the town if y'all want to. So,
yes.
I'll bring this up because I just feel like from a legal standpoint, if we're going to change this list to be sponsored by the town of Monteagle, we probably need to do some wordsmithing around the Easter sunrise service. Everything else, the veterans and Labor Day and Memorial Day, but I think if we're sponsoring church services, that would raise some flags for some people.
Well, no, I'm saying the ones that we're actually sponsoring, we're not going to sponsor all the ball program. It's not going to have Monteagle. I'm talking about like the Easter egg hunt. We will be asking for money for. We don't need any money for a church service. We don't need any money for a flag raising service.
I misunderstood you. I thought you said you were going to make that list sponsored by town of Monteagle.
No, we'll say the reason we're asking for these are the events Monteagle's going to sponsor. We won't sponsor the yard sale. I mean, we'll support it.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But we will not ask for it. We don't need money for that. We don't need money for.
Well, you can make this list, but you can highlight the ones that we're going to need money for.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying.
There you go. I just want to make a distinction because otherwise it can get confusing for folks.
Yeah. And I mean, there's a National Prayer Day too, but we can add that to it, but we're not going to sponsor it. It's already out there.
Right. That's fine. That's fine.
So what Nate's saying is, a valid church and state thing with the sunrise service. Maybe that not be a town event.
Well, I think it's going to be listed. I mean.
So I think if that's what I'm getting at. If this can be a list of events that happen in Monteagle and the church is having a rise service, then by all means we can put it on the list. That's not an issue at all. But if it is town events, that's where it gets. I think these are events happening in Monteagle, and then we put whatever, sunrise service is great. I love sunrise services, but that's different than saying they're town events. That's all I'm.
Yeah, and I agree with you. We need to identify, these are the ones we're asking for sponsors and volunteers for. Then another one we forgot to put on there is the 911 service. We'll have one of those at flag raising September the whatever.
Actually, that is the Tracy City. We do it in conjunction with Tracy. It's all
They do
of
theirs on Sunday.
Do what?
They do theirs on Sunday.
It's on Saturday this year. Mountaineer Days.
Okay.
And that's when, like all over the mountain, everybody comes to do that service.
Well, I know Jack and them usually had one, so we'll need to find out if the police want to do it. You know what I'm saying? And the fire truck set out here. I mean, I don't want to compete with them, and I want to support theirs, but if the guys feel like they need to do something in Monteagle, we can decide that, So, because I didn't know that they did, a Mountaineer Day. We'd love to have Swanee's schedule and Tracy City's schedule and everybody else's, saying these are ours, but other things to do on the mountain too.
Did you ever talk to Nadine about the 4th of July event?
Yeah, but we can't. We're going to overlap.
Well, they're having their street dance on Friday night, and they're having their parade at 6. Everybody has their time, and they're having their fireworks on Sunday night.
So they did change it.
So they changed it.
Okay, because I know whenever we talked to David, he said that he'd do ours on Saturday, and he wasn't sure about what they were going to do.
Their fire department is going to do theirs on Sunday.
Oh, okay. All right, so is it? We'll just come up with a calendar of events, and then we can look at it, and then the ones we are sponsoring, we will clarify. The ones we're not are just events that are happening. So. And where the locations are, but that way we can at least start preparing. And it also brings in tourists and makes money, for businesses. So
well, we ought to get with if we could get the local bar and Mountain Goat. They've got a big space in between them. It'd be awesome to do outside live music. Putting it out for summertime.
Yep.
Got enough room to do a stage in between them and keep both of them happy.
Yeah.
Or either do it at Harton Park and let them go spend money over there, and we don't do it that long, because we did do it at Harton and people would come over and do it. And we did find this out too. What's her name? Chastity Melton?
Yeah.
Is that her name?
Yes.
He has a screen that we can borrow if we want to do movies at the pavilion this year for free or in the park. She said we could borrow her screen. So it's for events.
All right. So with that calendar of events, it brings up a kind of an interesting point, because there's a lot more than what is going on in Monteagle than what the town does. We've got the assembly that's going full boat now, I guess, starting in June.
Sure.
There's a lot of other things going on in Monteagle besides town of Monteagle.
Well, then we separate this out. The ones we want to sponsor, we're going to send to people and ask them for sponsorships. The calendar of events that are Monteagle get highlighted first. And our sponsor first highlighted what happens in Monteagle, and then we can add the others to it. Because we're going to promote ourselves, right? First.
Yeah, we just have to divide, just specify what's what.
Yeah.
Leslie or Kiki just pointed out that the messenger keeps a community-wide calendar. So, it may just be that I'm all for linking. If we get this new website going, then we can link and draw in from other people, and they do keep one. And Iva Michelle keeps one going too.
Well, and so does, I think the new people are doing it, and then I think that Tracy City wants to, and I think Altamont said they would this year. So I think there's a lot more people that want to be involved. And then we'll share it with Marion County and Grundy County and Franklin for that point, and anybody that wants to use it can. We got David Riley up here tonight. He's actually covering what we're doing for Marion County News. So I don't know if y'all see him or not, but you know, he is going to start covering what we do as well. So we've got a lot
Hey,
of
David.
calendars. So,
Good deal.
but so does anyone have anything else for the workshop?
One thing, if I can just throw it out there, in my case, and COVID ruined this, but I have an event calendar on my website. Anybody can put whatever activity they want on there. Obviously, I have to approve it. We can't have a Klan rally or something, but but that way the onus is on the organizer to put it on the event calendar, and there's no charge for it unless they want it highlighted. But as you're going through your new website, you may look at doing something like that so that you're not closing the door to anybody. But like I said, the onus is on the organizer to put it on the calendar.
Do you provide links like when Monteagle gets their website? Will you link with us our website, David?
No, yeah, I will.
Okay, well, thank you. We got the Swanee Messenger, and we got the GCTV, and we got South Marion County because we're half the county, or half of our town is Marion County, you know, so.
Yeah, no, whatever I can do, I'll do it.
Thanks, David. Hey, quick question. All right, so that goes back to there's two separate kinds of events in Monteagle. There's events like Easter is for our kids, right? There's town citizen events, and then there's tourist events, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, we're working on a couple other things, but we're not even going to mention it here tonight because it's too premature. But it would be first for our kids and then for everybody else, I think, if it works out. But we still don't have any definites on that. So what do y'all think?
I think Michelle's riding some choppy water. She's just
well, she's in Key West. Come on.
Yeah, I think a good website with a calendar of events is great, and people will start using it more. And then the more they look, the more news and information is going to be important to have there.
Alvin?
No, I have nothing.
Nate?
This just brought to my mind. So GoDaddy, back to Ivan Michelle, to your media proposal. Your GoDaddy there's a transfer fee, and then is the hosting fee built into your or is that separate?
Yeah, that's separate. It's $239 a year.
Hosting fee?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's all I'm thinking about.
David, while you're on here, do you have anyone down there that builds websites that's local that we can get a price quote from?
Dale Woodfin does good work.
Pardon?
Dale Woodfin does good work.
All right, we just need to get another price, so I know where he's at. They're in South Pittsburgh, right?
Yeah.
Do you have a contact for him I can get tomorrow?
I can get you one tonight. I don't think I got one right here with me. I got the wrong pad. But I'll get you a number.
Thank you. So we'll have 3 that are good quotes by.
And also, I just threw my link up there for my event calendar. Like I said, I've abandoned it because of COVID, but you see where there's featured events, and you can actually feature like Monteagle's events, and then the upcoming events would be listed below that, and those would be the ones that people put on there themselves. Just something to look at. It's not an edict.
Are they doing the Cornbread Festival this year? Or do you know if it's canceled still?
They've postponed it theoretically till the fall, but it's an indefinite postponement. And
I've got some concerns that they're gonna run into Bonnaroo and then they're gonna run, so it's very fluid, but at this moment it is merely postponed is the official line.
Well, is it Bonnaroo? It's now rescheduled for September, correct?
September, I think. I believe that's right.
Okay.
Gonna have a busy fall.
Yeah.
Yes. And I think that's what people are not considering is that you're gonna have events that are gonna be dovetailed like this, and people don't have the money to do those back to back to back to back to back. And so I've tried singing that from the rooftops, and well, I've discovered my sphere of influence is limited, so.
Well, the location we had at one time, and you probably recall this, they had an event in Atlanta, was downtown Atlanta. They had Bonnaroo, CMAs, CRSs, and they had Bama Jam for about 3 years, and all 5 of them were they were overlapping within May and June. And the only advantage to Monteagle was everybody almost traveled the corridor, so that's where the money was made for Monteagle. You know, people stopping. It was, I mean, honestly, so if you've got something to happen, people would stop from one to the other for a few hours or a night or two, or, you know, and that's where the money was made. So,
Well, I noticed that the caverns are starting to book events now again.
they're outside, aren't they?
Yeah.
And that's what I thought, because I know Crowder's coming in June. So
I'll see Del McCurry wherever I can see him, outside, inside, it don't matter. I just,
yeah, that's what we said. So. So is
all right, you have ordinance, you have this ordinance on the 05-21. Did you want to talk about that, or we just?
Is that not the one you just talked about earlier? We were going to find, once we find out what TCA law says and what everything in MCAS says about it?
No, that's the elephant in the room ordinance.
Okay, all right, go ahead, go with your ordinance now.
Well, I just see that it's on the agenda for the workshop. I mean, it is the ordinance to rezone that parcel from R3 to C3.
Well, it's both parcels, isn't it?
Hmm?
Is it both parcels on there?
Just a single parcel.
Okay.
I don't know. I haven't looked at ordinance 05-21. Let's look at it.
Okay, I've got it. The ordinance is, have you got it, Michelle? You have it with you.
Let's see.
You're right. It's the R3 to C3. But I mean, all we can do is address it and decide to or not, Nate.
Okay, I just saw that it was on the agenda, and I didn't know if you wanted to bring it up, and that's why it was on the agenda, or.
No, I just think it was something that we're making aware that will be coming up at the meeting. You know, because these were just items that we know that are coming up, and other things can. So we're not trying to hide anything. That will be coming up. Plus, we do have the other one. Don't we have the one for the Roger Phillips property, Deb? That'll be.
That one is not coming up at this meeting.
When are we doing it?
Yeah,
I don't know. They didn't send me that one.
It's supposed to be on here too, and I don't remember the number of it, but both of those were going to happen at the same time, if you recall. I mean, 2 different ordinances, but they were supposed to be addressed. So
then we can only have.
I'll have to get that from Sam.
Yeah, then we only need to have one public hearing. So.
Right.
Well, the public hearing is going to be in March.
Yeah.
But he's saying you have to have a public hearing for the ordinances because we're rezoning. So we'll do both of them at that one public hearing, right, Nate?
That's what I was saying. We can do that though either way. I don't think the public hearing has to be before, or it does not have to be between the readings. It can be any time. So even if we don't get
it has to be posted.
Yeah, but even if if we don't talk about it at the meeting on Monday, we can still have the public hearing about it when we do the public hearing for this ordinance 05-21, I think.
Well, but I'd rather go ahead and let's do it because we're not hiding anything.
Oh,
we're not, you know what I'm saying? Let's just go ahead and let's just bring them both up, and let's just plan on announcing we will have the public hearing as we're supposed to before the March meeting. So that gives us, because there's so many people, and which it doesn't really matter because it's not true, but you do address those concerns. that we've hidden or we haven't addressed. So we will stress that we're going to be doing this in the proper order with TCA code CT. I'm saying it backwards, and Monteagle ordinances. That way, everybody has plenty of notification, just as well as the signs will be posted. Everything must follow the course and give them plenty of time to do it, no
And
matter what the outcome is.
I hope that RBT will bring us some more detailed plans at this meeting next week that have addressed some of the homeowner concerns. And I think I've told all of y'all that I had asked him to do that. I think there have been some valid concerns put out by the homeowners, and I want to see them addressed, and I might as well address them now. So.
Yep. Agree. I mean, it's a bad situation. We're trying to make as best as we can. So, and that's another reason for the flow meters. We're actually making sure we have full capacity, and we're testing, which we should have, done already, but let's go ahead and do it. Let's address all these issues that we need to address as we move forward. Yeah. But now, so we will have both ordinances, Deb, by Monday night, right? You're going to contact Sam?
I'll call Sam tomorrow because I don't have another ordinance. That's the only one they sent me.
Well, let's call him and see. I can't remember the number, but that he can get the one for the Roger Phipps property too. Or no,
yeah, I'll make sure we have it.
And why are we waiting on Washingham just to not overwhelm ourselves with stuff to do, or?
That's what Sam said. That's what he recommended. Because there's more than, he said, there's more than just that one we need to look at and take them a couple at a time. I think because
is he going through the ordinance?
Garrett and Chad, was it Chad, Deb?
Chad Reese, yeah.
Chad yes. And Garrett were looking at it, and then Sam was also supposed to start reviewing it.
Okay.
So and Earl.
There may be more than Washingham then.
Yes. And there's others, as we know, we're going to have to address, but we can't change, that we found before. We've got to let them stand as they are until they're sold again. Then that one would have to be addressed. So there's just, we'll just go from there.
So is Earl researching those that are that may have had a variance or were non-compliant?
Yes, he's looking at some of those things too.
I had a question about that. We won't take up too much time, but it looked like when I was reading the zoning ordinance that when a new business comes into town, it has to comply with all the, if it was grandfathered in for some of the things in the zoning ordinance, that it then has to comply with them. Is that right? So if we have a business that's not in compliance with the landscape ordinance, for example, and doesn't have enough greenery on its lot, when the new business opens, they need to, how does that work?
Because if it's a new business, they cannot be grandfathered in. If they buy an existing business, that's different. And it's also if they change the footprint of the building. So Alvin said it a while ago. Alvin, when you bought the depot, right? If you had sold the depot, then it would be grandfathered in under certain provisions, right?
Yes, but as long as it didn't close.
The pit stop. You're making sense.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah, and if it when it was closed, then I think 30 days or there was some time frame there, then all that was gone away. You started scratch again, You wasn't grandfathered in on nothing after that time. After that 30-day pass, it stayed closed. I'm speaking of the beer permit because of the school being so close, but it was grandfathered in. But if it ever closed for a length of time, then it was done away with. Beer couldn't be sold there again on account of the school.
Well, I think it was that way too with the footprint of the building, because technically, I know when CVS moved, because they didn't change the footprint of the building, they said that, and I don't even remember what was there. What was there? It was another drugstore, wasn't it, for a little while?
There was something to that because and I don't remember what it was now, but and I'm not sure we could have changed it there, the footprint. And for whatever reason, actually on one side of it, the property line was, I mean, been in question there on that building of, because there's a street that goes down through there.
Yeah.
Name street, but that was what I was talking about a while ago, was was talking about the beer stuff. When it was grandfathered in, it was grandfathered in to me, and then when I closed it, it done away with it. I mean, I don't think they can purchase that property and sell beer in there again.
But I guess what I'm asking is, Earl's checking on that stuff. So thinking about the pit stop is pretty much nothing but pavement around it, because it always has been. And so would they need to comply with the landscape ordinance before they open the next time? And I'm not meaning to single them out and pick on them. I'm just curious.
They'll probably have to have some landscaping, yes. Whether it be trees in a bucket, they'll have to have some kind of landscaping before they open again. I don't know, because that situation, because it is pavement all the way around it.
They're doing it. I actually talked to the landscaper who's tearing up the pavement. So in that instance, it's taken care of. I just didn't know. I didn't know whether that was something that was on Earl's radar screen, thinking about the local. I'm sure he's probably already taken care of all that.
Since you said it, I think, and thinking back, maybe they was because we had some cross ties right at the corner of where the pit stop was and JB Ladd's property was. We had some cross ties up there, and we planted flowers and greenery in a certain area. Now, I don't know if that was, we did that or if we had to do that. I don't remember.
Well, I know they're going to tear up a bunch of the pavement in front of the pit stop, is what I hear. Rumor.
Well, you've got Modern Dave's too. That used to be Modern Dave's. It's now local. And I know there's certain things they have to comply with that Modern Dave's may not have to, because that's the prime example, even though it's still, but certain things will have to happen there that didn't happen at Modern Dave's because it's been closed so long.
Yeah.
I guess it's lack of a good system. So
I was just curious. That's no big deal.
But yes, to answer your question, yes, Nate, those things do need to be, or will be addressed from this point on, but.
When did you say we started on budget?
I was just about to ask that. Can we do it?
We need to go ahead and schedule something as soon as we can meet. If March, we can have live meetings, let's go ahead and look at our calendars and see what days would be best to have a budget meeting. I think we had hoped to do it in February, but February's now gone, so y'all go ahead and look at your calendars, see what days will be best, and let's see if we can't start doing it a couple of days a month. And I'd rather do it in person if we can.
I read something about what you were talking about. The governor was looking at be able for open meetings again, maybe the end of March. If there was an if in there, there's something went on. With this vaccination and reoccurrence has a lot to play on that. There's something I read, and it was through a Channel 4 where they text you news and stuff that I read that. So that's something we might follow up on and may know something more about it. I'm not sure if this.
Deb, have you got anything from the comptroller?
No, I haven't.
Because the comptroller said it to Deb about what was mandated, so he should send something, or we can check with MTAC, see what they say.
Yeah, they usually send me an email or something.
Well, it's fine whether it's virtual or in person. What would be good for me, I think, on this first meeting would be to have Debbie there to be able to help me understand some of the numbers that I don't understand.
She'll be in all meetings, or we'll have a CPA too.
We're just thinking about for the first meeting.
Yeah.
Just to go through it with line by line and have Debbie go, okay, well, this is what this is for, and this is what we do with it. And we usually run under budget on this, or, we can have, she's given us some of the prior year budgets, and I've tried to look through them, but it's just helpful for me to know, what our trend lines are and what different things go for. So I'm new to it.
I'll be at every meeting.
Yeah,
right now.
I'm trying to put you in charge, Debbie. I just don't want you to just be there. Be in charge.
I'll be there. The CPA will be there too, though.
Yeah, okay. That's what I started to say. We have both of them there, so if we can do it, of course, we're doing our best with everything we can do. We'll just keep doing it. you know, that's, but I understand that you're used to Zoom meetings with the university, but if we could have a little hands-on, then some of the folks that are not used to it, of course, I mean, you know, it just is what it is. We're getting criticized over Zoom meetings too. So, you know, we're just going to keep moving forward. It is all good, you know.
I'm going to have my first Zoom scout meeting tomorrow night. I'm not looking forward to that.
You can have fun.
Good luck with that.
I'll be doing the little emojis for you, Nate. There's no telling what kind of horns that you'll have on by the time they get done with you. With those boys and girls.
Does Alvin know who was in the council last time when they appointed Ron and Anna and
Chris.
Chris?
Alvin, Harry,
who ran?
Dolores.
Dolores.
Dolores not.
Dolores was on the council. Kenneth was on council.
No, Kenneth was not. Kenneth ran. Are you talking about the last one or the time we were on there?
I'm talking about the last one where Susie, Ron Terrell, and Chris were appointed. Who was on that council?
That was 4 years ago or more, because it had to be on my first two years, 2.5 years. You know, we had that first time I was on the council it went 2.5 years because it changed changed something and it had to line up with the election. So we had to go 6 months over. So it had to be more than 4 years ago.
Okay.
So Rusty had to resign, and I think that's how Ron got on. Is that right?
But Ron was appointed.
Yeah.
But what Doreen's asking, who ran? I know Alan ran, and I know Harry ran, and of course, I ran for mayor, David ran for mayor, and Lex ran for mayor. So, but I'm not sure if there was any more besides Alvin. It seems like there was, but I can't remember who it was that ran. But you and Harry were next with the votes. It's came up recently, which is, we'll address it when we're maybe done. Why did we do an appointment? We do an appointment according to the ordinance, not according to who had the next votes. It's like you vote for vice mayor. You don't just, go with the next vote getter.
I can't answer that for you, Doreen. I don't really know for sure how long.
Did you ever figure out, Marilyn, you have a 4-year term, right?
I don't think so. So I think what I'd really like to do is at our not March meeting is we can change the ordinance back to go to 4 years, and then we'll see what we're supposed to do in 2 years. I'm not, according to Debbie, and it's only 2 years for everybody, right, Deb?
Yes.
Wow. Yeah,
everybody has a 2-year term.
But there was some question about whether they had done it correctly. Have they not? Did we check it?
It was done correctly.
So we need
to
to
done correctly.
Whether we want to run again or whether we don't, or whether we get beat or whether we, whatever, we need 2 years, you don't get anything done. Of course, it would go back to the same cycle. The next election, you'd have 4 years for the mayor and 2 council people. You'd have 2 years for the 2 council people, and then they would stagger to 4 and 2, 4 and 2, which makes sense.
Yeah, that gives us continuity no matter who's in office.
Right.
All you have to do is do a new ordinance.
Well, I wish there were a way. And the other thing, and I'm just going to go ahead and bring it up since we're at a workshop. Once we get through with some of these major issues and we start working downtown again, if there was any way we could put it in the charter to where it couldn't be changed that easy, there has to be a way of changing, and the charter has to go through state legislation. I do know that. So it does take a time to get it done. But like we could protect the corridor, we could protect the terms of a cycle. I don't want it. I'm not talking about for me or for y'all. I'm talking about for the future, because there's no stability. That's not taking away voters' rights. That's just giving a little stability with those rights.
Yeah.
I agree with that. I think an alderman, 2 aldermen still need to be in office when the election comes back so that they know what's going on. They know what's happening. I think it's too easy to change an ordinance with every election. You know
So
what I mean?
does a charter have to go through our city council and then the state legislature, or does that?
Yeah, we'd have to get an attorney. We'd have to get somebody to look at it to make it more ironclad, you know. And I mean, even if it didn't happen in this cycle for us, if, and a big if there, again, I'm not saying I may not be alive tomorrow. I may not be either. I'm not saying that. But for whoever that term is, if there was some way of ensuring, this can't just be changed at a whim of 2 meetings, you know. That's, I don't think that's smart business. I wouldn't do it for my business. Me, there'd be more stability in that. Would y'all? You don't think we're having this discussion today?
I like the idea of having somebody in the office at all times that's been there, that knows what's going on.
Yeah.
What we might could do is go ahead and change the ordinance, and then, so we know that the next election, regardless, will be 4 years, no matter who's in there. You know what I'm saying? A 4 and a 2 and a 2. Or it'd be a 4, 4, 4, 2, 2 in that way. Then we could start the process to see how we could change the charter to where this couldn't be reversed that easily. They would have to go through the same 18 months. You know what? It'd take them several years to do that. And hopefully there'd be some objection before they did, you know. And also, how do we change the corridor to where it's the protected piece of venue for the town? And then we have sections of that corridor come out. Once we start planning again, because everybody knows we had a Monteagle 2020. If it had been pursued, we wouldn't be having some of these lawsuits and some of these issues we have right now.
What do we need to find to do a corridor plan update? 20,000? Is that y'all know? That's a guess.
According to, let me contact Southeastern Development and see who's out there doing it now. You know, because I know we won't go with the same engineering firm, Nate. You do too.
Thank you.
So, we're not going to have that discussion. We're in agreement. But if we could take those plans, which we've got, and that we could actually develop from there. And I'm just going to mention this to y'all. I had but there's 2 things I'd like to do. I'd like to bring up a suggestion for BZA, even though BZA can only do certain things, you know, with why and how to appoint it. It is 7 members now. And then the other thing, I would really like to get a committee together, and y'all may just start cringing. And you're open for suggestions to it, to look at our ordinances, because right now we do have more of a template or cookie cutter format. But there are some things that need to be custom for Monteagle. And say by November, they'd report to us and say, these are the ones we think are good. These are the ones we think that needs to fit Monteagle. And you have a senior, you have a youth, you have a business owner, you have a person that's, you know, that represents the council. You know what I'm saying? You have a blend, and let those review it and come back with us by November, set a deadline and say, these are the ones we think we need to change to custom to Monteagle, or let's just leave it as it is. But because the way it was adopted, and even though we went through the process with MTAS, some of the things they did use on a state uniform definition, you know, and we need to custom to Monteagle's needs. You know, we're unique in a lot of ways. So it's something to think about in our planning, but I would like to get that group together. I know I can appoint committees, but I'd like for y'all to be involved with it. Because if you've looked at our ordinances, a lot of them are state cookie cutters.
I'd like to be involved in that.
I think your game, the business owner that brought it to my attention said, I don't want to be involved. We don't need some of the bigger business owners in here. But I think something we need to get to work on soon, because we are looking at a short window, you know.
Yeah. One of the things that Brian and I have been talking about with the truck stop plan is moving to dark sky initiative compliant lighting. And I didn't realize so that's lighting that reduces light pollution. So it puts the light on the parking lot, but not on the neighbors' houses, and it doesn't pollute the sky to block the stars out. But if we have an outdoor recreation focus, I think it might be something interesting. I just realized they have a model ordinance. There is a model night sky ordinance. I didn't read the whole thing. It may not be worth anything, but just in our conversations about reducing light pollution, it seems like a pretty neat one.
Well, you know that the state does require, not the state, but federal government requires for light pollution to be monitored. You did know that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because when Steve Williams built, they came in and monitored the lighting. I mean, I'm not saying it was perfect, don't get me wrong, but that no longer can we just throw things out there and say it sticks, you know.
It was one of the things I had on my list to try to get with Tony on before the lights went up on the interstate exits, but then they went up, and so there's nothing really to be done with them. There's just specific lighting that really focuses the light downward where you need it rather than out and polluting the sky, and I'm kind of a fan of that.
But here's something else just to note is that those lights have been paid for. They just got to order a breaker, so nobody stopped any work on the interstate lighting.
I knew that, and I knew that they'd already been ordered before we came into office, so it wasn't like I was going to stand up and say, no, let's throw out all this stuff that we just, that's not where I am. I had hoped to be able to talk earlier, but it just it moved forward faster than I thought it would with Tony, because it had been on my list to talk to him about it.
I just wanted to clarify because it has been stated we threw it out, but we didn't throw it out. We're waiting for them to get the breaker part in to go ahead and finish whatever work was supposed to be done. The only thing we did ask is they provide us a dollar amount because there was no dollar amount submitted at that time, according to the person that's doing the work. So that's going to happen as soon as it can, you know, and there is some wiring issues still there. I mean, we can have the electrician come and talk. The wiring issue is a whole different story than, you know, the breakers, you know, but those are still on go, whatever they planned before.
Well, yeah, okay. Sounds good.
So is that, do y'all want to just do this at our March meeting? We'll know by, I'm at March, shoot. Next Monday, we should know next Monday by the executive order, and then we can start planning whether it be virtual or it be real budget meetings.
Yeah.
Y'all want to do that?
I think that's good to at least get the process rolling and get the numbers in my head.
Well, everybody look at your calendar and let's see what we can do. We know the dates we can't. We'll just go from there. You know,
Monday nights are generally good with me, so I don't know how they are with y'all, but it's kind of my town night.
Yeah.
So
that's what I've changed to Monday night. So unless I'm out of town, and I'm not out of town till May again. I do have May and June. I'll be out of town for a little bit. So probably, and in August. So
virtual.
Yeah, I can do it virtual. You're right. Well, I don't care to be at a meeting. I'm just letting you know. And we're actually going to be out in a little bit in February, but it won't be those days. But anyhow, so but we can virtual. This is my computer.
Alvin, does Monday evening generally work for you?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
Good for me.
Thank you, Nate, for coming up there and setting up the Zoom on the town computer. So, I appreciate it.
So if it doesn't work again, on your mute and mic button in the lower left-hand corner, you had to select computer audio. And it was the same problem that Debbie was having with her iPad. If you don't select what audio you want to use, not only can you not talk, but you can't hear. So she was not hearing me on the iPad, and I realized we just needed to turn hers on as well as turning the other computer on.
Okay. Well, folks, if y'all don't have anything else, then we'll just plan on meeting virtually next Monday night.
See you next week.
Good. Thank you. Appreciate you. Bye.